Put all your cameras and phones away, please.
Of course, Ronnie gets that reception wherever he goes in the world. One of the most popular players the game's ever produced. But Matthew Stevens has a terrific support here, and a lot of the neutrals would love to see a comeback. But just an escape off the side cushion. I think you always felt as long as your opponent needed 2 frames, you've got a bit of a chance. It's when he gets to just needing 1 frame. But how can you contain Ronnie O'Sullivan the way he's played throughout this Betfred.com World Championship? It's the most consistent I think he's been for a long, long time.
Yes, we just alluded to with the conversation with John Parrott how some people were saying that they didn't think Ronnie would ever compete again. And a couple of pals of mine in Birmingham were saying that Ronnie O'Sullivan wouldn't win the World Championship again, but he's got his best chance this year. He's had for a long time. He's already odds-on favourite to win the championship. Really impressed with Matthew, the way he stuck to his guns, and when he made it 12-9, I thought he could have made it a lot closer as well. He just ground his way into it, but then of course Ronnie, as you mentioned with John Dennis, just changed gear again.
Tournament success rate identical. Yeah, amazing. Just 1% in the safety success rate. Chalking that tip that his good friend Les Dodds from Southport put on for him. In fact, he was saying it's the best tips he's had on for quite some time. Make a difference. It's not like the game of tennis where you can, if you break a string, you just go and pick up another tennis racket and it plays the same. You could have 2 identical cues and they could play totally different.
And tips as well, of course. I mean, Ronnie, a few years ago, didn't he have 10 tips on in 3 days or something?
I remember him leaving the arena and biting the tip off his cue. Now he's looked at that. May not be a plant, but he's got a safety shot in mind here. Might be able to make it. Not quite.
You have to take your hat off to Matthew Stevens as well, what he's done over the last 2 seasons. I mean, a couple of seasons ago, he was out of the top 32, trying to hang on to his place on the main tour. And he's just decided to knuckle down again and give it probably one last shot as far as being a regular tournament winner. And he's done remarkably well to get back into the top 16. And now he's a danger again. Whatever tournament Matthew plays in, he's definitely one of the favourites.
I think well, I thought he'd got away with that. It's still a difficult red that Ronnie's faced with. But he had a little laugh about that attempt. His long potting in the last session was terrific, but he missed that by a long way. But Ronnie not taking any liberties. There's one he could have taken on there, but look where he's put the cue ball. Just have a look at see the cue wobbling around there, but never got it, never even got in the jaws.
Been a lot of good safety already played in this match. Well, he's just got to be careful he doesn't push the red over the corner in playing him behind the green here. We've decided to play it thin because he will be pushing the red. There's 6 reds in a line there, and that last one's going to be pushed. But it didn't go very far, did it? And the cue ball is heading towards the green.
Just got to be careful because of the situation of the pink when you play the safety shot. That's what he's a little bit worried about. Well, this is risky. But he's going to give it his best shot, is Matthew. He knocked a few like this in this morning. That is a stunning shot. Played at this pace, it's just over 9 feet. The distance between cue ball and object ball. He's nearly on the cushion. Look how he pushed that cue through in a straight line and judged it to perfection to drop on the black. That's as good as we've seen throughout this semi-final.
Yes, it was certainly all or nothing. He was leaving at least 2 reds on.
8.
So he just felt that there was no easy path back into balk. And as we always say, when you play a shot like that, you deserve whatever you score from it, and it could be 90.
It's okay, even though he's straight on the blue, he's got the red to the left there. Just screw back a little bit, and he'd want to be pretty straight on this one, and he'd play a stun run through where he hit it
14.
fairly hard, and the white will just go through about 6 inches.
15.
Beautifully played, and the perfect angle. He's got a choice of reds to play on, the 2 to the right of the cue ball, or the 1 to the left of the black.
$22. 23.
He's okay. Let the white run a little bit further than he intended, but he can just play a delicate little cannon.
$30. 31. 38. $39.
Matthew, I mentioned, has got a lot of support here, and there's Freddie just leaning on the left there, and that's his son. And Claire on the right. They're engrossed at the start of this. All family members there. That's the balcony they can use. Wanting Matthew to get off to a good start, and he's certainly done that.
46.
Wouldn't it be great if he could
47.
win the frame with one visit, just to get things going here this evening in the Crucible, will he?
Well, his key would have been obviously winning 3 of the first 4. You can't expect to win all 4. He'd love to, but he certainly started well.
54.
He's just overscrewed it slightly and underdone it for the other one. But well recovered.
55. $62.
It's great to see him
63.
come out with this attitude. A lot of players 15-9 behind. You know, they would have given up virtually. But not this proud Welshman. Just underdone that slightly, but he's
70.
just one pot away from leaving Ronnie needing snookers here. Don't know if he can avoid the cannon on one of the reds, but the main thing is to pot this red anyway. He'd like to get on the colour and make absolutely certain.
Just try to dig into it there to make sure you got a half-full contact. The
71.
knowledgeable Crucible crowd, as usual, know when it's frame ball. And now can Matthew make his 4th century of the tournament, and the 66th of the tournament, if he does it.
76. 77.
Yeah, he's one of the great break builders in the game. He's made 235 centuries. And he's made 53 centuries at the Crucible.
84.
And that's some going.
85.
And of course, every time a century goes in, our sponsors Betfred give the £200 to the
92.
Haven House Children's Hospice. That's the
93.
association's chosen charity for this year. What a start from Matthew Stevens. And he gets a fabulous reception from this
100.
Crucible audience.
101.
That's what they've come to see. A lot of support for Ronnie O'Sullivan, but they want to see a comeback here from the Welshman.
108. 109.
Certainly showing a lot of character here. Probably play this left-handed. He's
160.
pretty good when he switches hands. Well, not quite as good as Ronnie, but what a start from Matthew Stevens. You can't do any better than knock a century in the opening frame, but he's still a long way back. 15-10.
Well, that's the 66th century of the tournament. Bit of deja vu, Ken, that a great start has been made once again by Matthew Stevens.
Yeah, great start. Just exactly what he needed. And it's like when you're coming back from such a deficit, you, as I said at the top of the show, you just try and take each frame as they come along. That's all you can do. You know, not worry about the score, not worry about who you're playing. And what a fantastic red he just knocked in to start that break. Absolutely superb.
John, a lot of people wrote off his chances.
Well, you know, obviously he's still the underdog in it. He's got a massive deficit to come back from. But if you're going to win a match like this, no miss snooker is a good idea.
There's always hope in match, obviously, and yeah, it's the first player that gets to 17 frames. By the time that Matthew Stevens can keep Ronnie stuck on 15, he's going to be in with a chance, and he will hope that things go his way tonight.
Just to apologise, there is a bit of picture interference for some people at home at the moment, so we apologise for those. We are currently trying to eradicate that problem. In the meantime, we shall stick with the pictures that we've got on the table in the arena and return to Dennis and Willie.
Thank you very much, Rishi. Fabulous opening first frame, and that red was one of the best shots of the tournament, especially with the situation this match is in at the moment. I mean, 15-9 behind, it was a really risky one to take, but he went all out for it and made a fabulous century. O'Sullivan yet to face a pot in this first few frames of the evening session.
Well, this was the red that we talked about. How he just rolled that in and got on the black was superb. But Ronnie had a little flick on the colour there, and it's left a gap through to this one. Can he do it again? I think depends where this red finishes. I think he may have got away with this. Everything's perfectly safe. I know the crowd are shouting, "Come on, Ronnie," but there's nothing to go for. That's a bit of a result that Matthews had there, but
Ronnie very rarely shows emotion, Dennis, and there was a little grimace on his face there as Matthews got away with this. There's Matthew thinking, well, surely I've left one on here, and a couple of seconds later he'll be delighted to see he hadn't.
Listen, he might be able to see enough of this red again, and he could roll it in and finish on the black if he's got a slight angle. That's what he's playing. Not quite.
This pot looks a little bit risky in the middle, so Ronnie's still not faced a pot yet. He can cut the one in nearest the blue, but it's fraught with danger, so I doubt whether he'll play that. No attempt at the pot there. That was just a safety shot, and a very good one.
Yeah, make no mistake, Ronnie will want to try and get the semi-final over with as quickly as possible, and maybe get out for a bite to eat and then relax and get ready for the two-day final, 4 sessions. I'm sure Ali Carter's out with his friends Steve and Tom having a nice quiet meal, getting himself psyched up for what could be his first World Championship win. Ronnie's a firm favourite now to lift this year's World Championship, but I think Matthew Stevens is going to push him as hard as he possibly can here. And this is a bit of a chance, and there is a gap round that red, but if he doesn't catch it right, he can go straight into the red, and well, he got away with it the last time. You can't expect to get away with it twice on the run, so if he takes this on, he's got to pot it. I don't think he can avoid canning into that red, maybe, even with a lot of screw on it.
Yeah, it's just a little bit thin, Dennis, isn't it? I agree with him. But it's, you know, a pot that if you played it 10 times, you'd probably potted 8. So that's without doing anything with the cue ball. So it might be worth taking the risk, potting it and kissing into the red. You never know, it could come out onto the pink or blue. So I think he's going to make his mind up to take it on.
Yeah, he's got no easy safety shot. So here we go.
Now, where's the white going to end up? Where's the white going to end up? Unfortunately for Matthew, double kissed. If he pots it, you see, he can play a safety shot, but he was always going to kiss into the red. He knew that.
Red again.
This was the 9 feet 2. And, he just had to go all out, no side, no nothing, just played it plain ball, knew he was going to kiss into the red. And that's Ronnie's first scoring shot this evening.
Six. Seven.
That could have worked out a little bit better, this split.
12.
Couldn't have played it much better. Caught the pink full on. He's opened the reds up quite a bit. Just get past the blue to snick this one in.
$13.
That was a very, very good pot. It was a tough red, that one. He may decide to play the cannon once more here, just to slow the cue ball down. The pack is so wide. He's looking at the yellow because obviously there's plenty of loose reds. So there's 3 on the right, 1 on the left. So the yellow's the definite shot. And now the balls are in a good position for a sizable break.
15. $16.
Not sure about this one. Can he get past the pink?
21.
He'd like to. Just about.
Well, he completely mishit the blue, Dennis, didn't he? It was a
22.
poor shot from Ronnie there. He was lucky to be on that one.
Here's an interesting little stat, Willie. Ronnie O'Sullivan has never lost in the final of a World Championship here at the Crucible.
28.
He's won 3 times, but he's been in 5 semi-finals. Never realised that.
So not only is Ali Carter going to have to beat
29.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, should Ronnie get there, of course, he's going to be facing a stat that it needs to be broken as well. Slightly underhit that one, but it's still okay. Not too sure they can run through for the black.
36.
Appears to be almost canning the black if he plays it plain ball. I think he might be able to screw past the pink and play the pink in the same pocket as this red. Right, still kiss the red.
37.
And he's going to have to kiss them again by the looks of things this time. Just making sure that there's no red available. He'll have to just screw up past the pink and bring a few more into play here. He's overscrewed that. Okay, might be able to take it, well, I was going to say up into the corner. I think it
42.
passes the blue still, but he misjudged that cannon there. Wanted to hit the red to the right of the one he made contact with. And he's just having a look around the bunch there to see what he would leave if he takes this. This must be tight up past the blue. There can't be a lot of room. He might have to go to the middle. I'm not sure. Well, it certainly passed the blue.
43.
Terrific shot. Wobbled in the pockets, but room past the blue.
Well, he didn't have the angle to go into them there. He had to play a delicate shot there. There's one available in the middle, as you can see there, as we'll show you in a second. There's one there in the middle pocket, but he played for one in the corner as well. He's taken
51.
these really well, because the last 3 or 4 shots he hasn't really been in prime position. The break goes to 51. 3 reds, 3 colours away from being just 1 frame away from victory. Oh, we got a kick there as well. The white bounce then. Obviously, both these players have got a great pot success rate. Not good enough for Matthew
57.
Stevens at 87, but 95% over 27 frames. That's incredible.
58. $65. $66.
Well, he's made 8 centuries
73.
here this year.
74.
He's made 676 in his career. He's made 112 at the Crucible, Willie.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 players that got that kind of stat, and I honestly can't believe they can
81.
make over 100 centuries at the Crucible. It's just incredible.
82.
I mean, there's a lot of players not made 100 centuries in their career, never mind about just one venue. We're talking about the absolute elite of the game.
But every time Matthew puts in a good frame, he made
89.
116. And Ronnie just, as
90.
we said, like puts his foot on the accelerator and off he goes. Matthew can't do a single thing about this.
Matthew's break was played to perfection.
97.
This one has taken exactly the same path
98.
until then. It was the first time he's been out of position, but he retrieved the situation. Ronnie O'Sullivan, his 9th century of the tournament so far.
105.
This is awesome.
Well, I'll tell you what, this audience this evening, you can't get better snooker than this. 2 frames, 2 centuries.
108. 112. 117. 123.
Well, whatever you do, I can do better. Matthew Stevens made 116. Ronnie O'Sullivan took the foot off the gas again. 130 clearance, and he goes 1 away from victory at 16-10.
And that century from Ronnie O'Sullivan takes the total for 2012 to 67, so ahead of 2008 and 2010, 1 shy of 2007, but still some way shy of 2009. And unless we get the greatest final ever, we're not going to get there.
No, I don't think we will, but we've had a fantastic standard, not only in this match, but throughout the whole tournament. But as Dennis said, every time that Matthew looks like he's going to come back a little bit. Just Ronnie puts his foot on the accelerator, and when he's in amongst the balls, I mean, there's no better sight in snooker. It just makes it look so effortlessly.
And JP, you were purring all the way through that break.
It's absolutely hit it to perfection, didn't he? The red in the corner, screwed back up. I'll make one thing as well. Up until Maguire made a 1-4-2 the other day, at the top 12 breaks at this year's Crucible, Jamie Jones had made 6 of them. So how well did he play in the tournament this year?
It's taken it out of him, actually. He tweeted earlier today to say he's absolutely cream-crackered. You were closest to JP's purring, Steve?
Yes, well, more of a squawk, I thought. Well, you can't help but admire. And whilst we have seen some brilliant performances from some great players, some of the most talented in the world, I think it's fair to say that Ronnie O'Sullivan comes from another world.
Thank you.
And I don't really see how you can control him on the table at the moment. He looks to be in perfect nick.
Ronnie O'Sullivan breaks off. I was about to say, and what he's hoping to be his last frame in this semi-final, but he's brought the red up the table, and it's an early chance for Matthew. Just looking at it, the black has got itself tied up.
Yes, Ronnie obviously breaks off left-handed, and it's amazing. Virtually every one of Ronnie's breaks, he does tie the black up. The two players that are on show this afternoon, Maguire and Ali Carter, the way they broke, never tied the black at once.
6. Seven.
Well, I had a little practice in the practice area, and the tables are so difficult to break off and get the white over behind the green. With the new cloths on, they're sliding a little bit, and probably that's why the players are concentrating so much on the break-off shot.
Yes, it's not such an advantage now to break off as it is years ago. You could guarantee getting on the top cusp behind the green. There does have a little gap there between the two reds to be able to kiss that red away from the black. I think that top
11.
red is just in its way. I don't think it was gone that way. They obviously played for
12.
pink.
You were right down the queue of Matthew Stevens there. It's amazing some of the pictures that they bring to you. You sit at home and you're looking right down the players' queue. I mean, the Crucible Theatre, the 950, 960 spectators are pretty close to the action. That is the magnificent arena here, the Crucible Theatre.
18.
Even if you're on the back row, you've got a terrific view. You can see the cameras there that bring you these marvellous
19.
pictures.
He'd have really loved an angle on this blue to go into them. He hasn't got that angle now. The red to the right of the pack will pot in the right-hand corner, which will be bringing reds into play if he plays it. Just seeing how far he can go across the table to make that a certainty. Got to be a little bit careful if he runs through and plays the screw shot off that red. He doesn't screw towards the middle pocket. Just unfortunately, as you can see there on Hawkeye, absolutely dead straight.
Yeah, that's a sort of a shot. If you play with top spin, you follow it in. If you play with bottom spin, you screw back in the pocket. And you know, the gentleman sitting in the studio sets this shot up, Steve Davis, and he demonstrates running through, screwing back, and then he screws back into the pocket one-handed, holding the cue like a dart. Unbelievable how
24.
Steve does that.
Yes, he was always worried about the reaction the cue ball would have off the pack, and as you can see,
25.
it reacted far too much. And okay, he may have a pot on the yellow in the middle, but you know these are not straightforward.
He knew
Matthew
immediately.
Stevens,
He was
25.
up as soon as he played the shot. He knew he'd missed the yellow. Straight away, he was on his way back to his seat. Now, what can Ronnie make of this? Ooh, I'll tell you what, he nearly missed the red. He played that with right-hand side, and it just threw the white off a little bit and almost missed it. But he's got an angle on the green to open things up here, as we just show you this red wobble in the jaws. What can he develop here? Just played for the top red there. Black still tied up. Not sure if the pink's available at the back of the bunch. It is.
5.
And he had worked that out. He's got such a quick brain, Ronnie O'Sullivan. But has he got enough angle to bring some of the reds into play? He'll have to hit it pretty hard. Yeah, he can do that. Where's the red going?
Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 5.
Well, you couldn't
Matthew
anticipate
Stevens,
that
6.
happening. You're always looking for a little chance in the pack, but how did that spring out and go in the middle pocket? Let's have another look at this. No, that's just unlucky.
One.
Well, Matthew played that with his opposite hand, and he's overdone it. This is a tough blue. It's a fairly comfortable pot if you just roll it in, but he's having to dig down, as you can see, to get the cannon. I'll tell you what, that is a bit unlucky as well. Well, that's Ronnie was unlucky to knock the red
6.
in. Matthew is very unlucky. Unless this red passes the yellow, as we show you the cannon again. Played it well. It must be tight, this. It passes the black, but does it? Well, you've got to be so precise from that angle. No, the yellow was slightly in the way. If he had been in
Matthew
behind the red,
Stevens, 6.
he would have been okay.
It doesn't appear that the black or yellow is on, and the pink's out of commission as far as the right-hand corner pocket is concerned. So if Ronnie's going to get onto a colour from here, he's got to avoid cannon in the black and yellow. Plays it plain ball, he go around the back of the black and yellow. He can go for blue or green. That's what he's played. And he couldn't have picked it up and put it better by hand. This is a chance for frame and match.
Six. 7. $30. 14.
The way Ronnie's played that tells us that the yellow doesn't pot, so there's a good positional shot needed to make this into a frame and match winning chance. So Matthew may get a lifeline here.
$20.
Yes, it's all about that
21.
yellow ball. The reds are available.
playing the cannon into the black now, Dennis. Is that on? He's got the angle on the pink, isn't he?
I'm just wondering, he might just play the cannon now
27.
that you were talking about, Willie, just to flick the yellow out of the way.
28.
But it hasn't quite worked out. I don't think he can get on the red now.
Just caught it a fraction thick, that cannon. If he'd have caught it slightly thinner, he'd have run through and been on the red. So he's going to be playing a snooker. So Matthew's going to get back to the table, albeit he won't like the shot he's going to have to play.
White in behind
35.
the black, red up behind green or brown.
Ronnie O'Sullivan. 35.
Ronnie's got himself 3 points in front. Matthew is in a pretty difficult snooker here. The middle pocket slightly in the way of the 2-cushion escape, and if he misses making contact with the red and slips past, he could quite easily leave a free ball. This is a key shot for Matthew Stevens. It could possibly be his last shot in this year's World Championship, so he's going to have to make it a good one. I don't think the white has ran far enough. It looked as if it was going to slip in behind the blue, but Ronnie can see the potting angle.
Yeah, Matthew just looked up to the commentary box there and raised his eyebrows. He knows if he knocks this red in, Ronnie has a chance to win frame and match, and he's knocked the red in.
Now, can he screw back and avoid the pink, or is he going to have to
6.
run this around? Looks as if he can screw back. Now look at this shot played with his left hand with reverse side.
8.
Quick glance at the scoreboard. He's just played superbly
11.
well, has Ronnie O'Sullivan. Matthew Stevens has put up a terrific fight, but this man has just been unstoppable. He really
15.
has. Matthew, when he won 4 frames out of 5 to get back to 12-9, looked as if he might do it.
20.
But it has been great to see the Welshman back where he belongs in the Crucible Theatre. But you can't take anything away from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Absolutely sensational. And he pats the back of Matthew Stevens. They've got a lot of admiration for each other. But Ronnie O'Sullivan gets himself into the final for the 4th time. It's going to be a cracking match with him and Ali Carter. And Ronnie eventually runs out a winner, 17 frames to 10. Well done to both players.